What's good, YouTube? In today's video, man, we're going to be going over the 5 most realistic centers that the Lakers should be targeting on the trade market before the NBA trade deadline in February. Coming in with our honorable mention, guys. I have 5 targets, but I do want to honorably mention Day'Ron Sharpe, center for the Brooklyn Nets. He is the backup center for the Brooklyn Nets, guys. I see a lot of people in Lakers Nation talking about him and mentioning him as one of the targets for the Lakers. I'm not a big fan of him, but he is a younger guy. He has a lot of upside. He's got pretty decent size. He's 6'9", probably 6'10" with shoes. He is a bulkier guy, so he can kind of be a bruiser somewhat. You know, he can block shots. He's pretty athletic. But I really don't like him as a target for this team. I think Jackson Hayes is probably a better player already right now, and Jackson Hayes is younger as well. And we're looking to upgrade this roster. I don't think that Day'Ron Sharpe would be a big upgrade unless he comes in a package with like Dorian Finney-Smith or Cam Johnson or Dennis Schroeder or something like that. Then I think that would be a more realistic or more understandable target or trade or whatever. I do think that would be better in that aspect. But as for right now, if you're just trying to trade up straight up for Day'Ron Sharpe, I don't think you're going to be upgrading the roster that much. And that's just my opinion on Day'Ron Sharpe. Coming in at number 5, guys, we have Nick Richards, the starting center for the Charlotte Hornets. I do think that this guy, Nick Richards, man, he is a phenomenal he would be a phenomenal fit with this Los Angeles Lakers team. He kind of reminds me a lot of Daniel Gafford that plays for the Dallas Mavericks. I think that if you were to trade for a guy like this, he would be able to fit just like Daniel Gafford does with the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks were a really good team, or they were a good team before some of the moves that they made last season with trading for PJ Washington and trading for Daniel Gafford. If the Lakers were to go down that same type of road with the team that they currently have, and they was to add a couple more guys that have more size, you know, and that can play defense and just be more like enforcing, or kind of those enforcer kind of players like Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, Nick Richards will be able to do that for your team. He is a great shot blocker. His career averages aren't great for the Charlotte Hornets, but he has gotten better over his career. He averages this season 12 points a game, 62% from the field, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and he averages 2 blocks. He can play alongside AD. You want to bring him in the game and play with Anthony Davis, or he can be your backup center when Anthony Davis is off the court. And I do think he will be an upgrade over Jackson Hayes. I think he's just a much better player. He's more in control. He has better hands. He's a better shot blocker. He's more coordinated on defense. And on top of that, guys, I just think he's just a better player. So I do think that he will be an upgrade over Jackson Hayes, and I think that he will be a great fit for this Los Angeles Lakers team. Coming in with number 4, guys, we have Nick Claxton, starting center for the Brooklyn Nets. I do think that Nick Claxton will be a perfect fit for this team, guys, just from being a great defensive player alone. He is not a good offensive player. He is not a good free throw shooter, even though he has improved on both sides with the offense and the free throw shooting. He has great size, man. He is a really, really gritty player. I like everything about Nick Claxton. He continues to get better every single season. He's a lob threat. You know, he's athletic. He's extremely coordinated. He's a great post defender. He's a great shot blocker. Just imagine him and Anthony Davis on the court at the same time when it comes to protecting the rim. Sometimes the biggest flaw with the Lakers when it comes to defensively, they're a horrible defensive team. They don't have Jared Vanderbilt right now, who I think is one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire NBA. But they don't have him right now, and their best defender is Anthony Davis by far. And when Anthony Davis gets switched out onto the perimeter and he's guarding point guards or guarding wings or whatever, trying to stop these guys, and he goes up to contest the shot, they always give up offensive rebounds, or they never have people to clean glass or get those block shots down low in the paint when Anthony Davis is on the perimeter. And if you was to have another center like a Nick Claxton or Nick Richards, another guy we just talked about before him, those type of players would be able to fill in those roles a lot better than anybody they have currently on the team. Jackson Hayes, even when he's healthy, I don't even want to speak on Christian Koloko and Armel Traore, some of the centers that they have on the team now. Those guys are not NBA ready players right now. So the Lakers have flaws and they need a backup center, and I think Nick Claxton would be a great asset on the Lakers. All right, man, coming in at number 3, guys, we have Nikola Vucevic. This guy is extremely underrated in my opinion, man. We got a 6'10" center that obviously he plays for the Chicago Bulls. He's the starting center for Chicago Bulls. this season, he's having an all-star caliber year. He's averaging 21 a game on 60% from the field, 47% from three, 10 rebounds a game, and he's averaging a block a game, along with 3 assists. If you was to pair this dude, he would legitimately have a chance to start alongside Anthony Davis, in my opinion, because he kind of gives you that same energy that Marc Gasol did in that 2021 season when the Lakers had a really good team, and I think they would have went all the way and won the championship back-to-back years if Anthony Davis did not get hurt in the first round against the Phoenix Suns. A lot of people don't like to speak on that, but I do, because that's just a fact. They were absolutely destroying the Suns, and Anthony Davis gets hurt. He was the best player in that series by far. And this is when LeBron James was coming back from that messed up ankle when I can't think of the player name that played for the Hawks, fell on his ankle trying to go for the ball, and it was a really, really bad play. And LeBron ended up being out for like 5 weeks or whatever. And LeBron was just coming back, so he was kind of getting his rhythm going and stuff like that. He was playing good, but Anthony Davis was by far the best player on the team, and nobody could stop him on the Suns. They were up 2-1, and Anthony Davis went down, and they ended up losing that series. But Nikola Vucevic reminds me so much, or actually, I think he's an upgraded version of Marc Gasol at that point. He can spread the floor better. He's a better three-point shooter. He's a better scorer right now. He's a really good rebounder too. And then on top of that, he's got a big body that you can put in the game alongside Anthony Davis. Or when Anthony Davis goes to the bench, you won't have a significant drop-off in your production from the center position or the big man position. So you can run pick and pop with him, pick and roll at times, throwing the ball in the post. He can get buckets. He can back to the basket, get buckets. Really good in the free throw area line and stuff like that. So Nikola Vucevic would be a great fit for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I know he is 34 years old, and I know a lot of people don't like older centers, but look at Al Horford right now. Al Horford for the Boston Celtics, they wouldn't have won a championship last year without him because Kristaps Porzingis was injured. And Al Horford plays a vital role for the Boston Celtics when it comes to spreading the floor. And Al Horford is a better defender than Nikola Vucevic. But Nikola Vucevic, when it comes to impact on the team, he can have a huge impact on the Los Angeles Lakers. Just look at the stats he's putting up this season on a bad Chicago Bulls team. And then on top of all of that, man, it won't take a lot for you to get Vucevic on the team. Probably just a couple second-round picks. It probably won't even take you a first-round pick to get him and trade for him. So I think that the Lakers' biggest need is a backup center. Well, one of their biggest needs, other than perimeter defense. And I think Vucevic will be a great fit. Coming in with a number 2 on the list, guys, we have Jonas Valanciunas, starting center for the Washington Wizards. Jonas Valanciunas is a 32-year-old center at the edge of his prime. He's not as good as he once was in the NBA, but he is still a really, really good player. I have no clue why he signed with the Washington Wizards this offseason. He is on a completely different timeline than the Washington Wizards. The Wizards are a rebuilding team. They're a lot younger than him. He just doesn't match their timeline. He should be on a team that's contending for a title or trying to at least make the playoffs. And I think that he would be a great fit with the Los Angeles Lakers to play alongside Anthony Davis or be a backup center when it comes to Anthony Davis going off the court. It won't be a significant drop off. He's a much better player than Jackson Hayes. He's a good rebounder. He shoots a high percentage from the field. You can throw him the ball in the post. He can get you buckets. He can run the pick and roll really well. He sets really good screens, get guys open. That's one of the most underrated parts about Jonas Valanciunas. He sets really, really solid screens. He never gets caught for offensive fouls on the screens and stuff like that. So he'll get guys like Dalton Connect open. He'll get guys like D'Angelo Russell open on pick and rolls. So these things are very, very important to having championship caliber teams when you got centers that can set good screens and get guys open. Jonas Valanciunas is one of the best centers in the league when it comes to getting guys open on screens. He can fill in the role for Anthony Davis when he goes to the bench. Obviously, he's not Anthony Davis, but I'm saying it wouldn't be a significant drop-off from an offensive production when Anthony Davis does go to the bench, and you can play him alongside Anthony Davis when you're playing against teams like the Denver Nuggets, who's been the Los Angeles Lakers kryptonite the last couple seasons, the Denver Nuggets. So you can play him on the court with Anthony Davis. You can play him on the court without Anthony Davis. And I think Jonas Valanciunas would be a great fit on this team, and you probably would only have to give up like a second-round pick, maybe 2 second-round picks along with like Gabe Vincent That would be a great trade in my opinion. Kind of reminds me of what the Lakers did last season with Rui Hachimura. When they traded for Rui Hachimura, all they gave up was 3 second-round picks and Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn is no longer in the NBA. So that would be a phenomenal trade for your team. Rui Hachimura is still contributing to the Lakers, while Kendrick Nunn is not even in the NBA anymore, and they only gave up a couple second-round picks. So that would be a great trade if you was to do something along those lines for Jonas Valanciunas. You probably wouldn't give up as many second-round picks because he is getting older, but a second-round pick or two, along with like Gabe Vincent or somebody else on your team, like Jackson Hayes or something, that would be a great trade, and I think Jonas would fit this team really, really well. All right, guys, coming in with that #1 selection on the list, man, we have Walker Kessler, starting center for the Utah Jazz. Last but not least, man, Walker Kessler would be absolutely the perfect fit, man. This is a realistic trade as well because the Utah Jazz, I think, are gonna be sellers by the trade deadline, guys, and Walker Kessler would be the best fit for this Los Angeles Lakers team, in my opinion. He's 7 foot tall. He's only 23 years old, so he's going to continue to get better. He can fit with this team right now and for the future when after LeBron retires or whatever, you would have your center for the future. He is a phenomenal shot blocker, guys. He might be a better shot blocker than Anthony Davis. Like, you really can just debate and have a conversation about Walker Kessler might be a better shot blocker than Anthony Davis. So just imagine them on the court at the same time. Like, it wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't even be a competition at that point. It would just be like, bro, we have such great rim protection, especially if we have him and Anthony Davis on the court at the same time, kind of playing that same type of role that Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard played back in the 2020 season when they won the championship. You would have great rim protection. And then on top of that, if you had to, Anthony Davis could guard a lot of threes, and he can guard a lot of fours as well. So, say like, for example, if you're playing against a team like the Denver Nuggets, who's been your kryptonite over the last couple seasons, Anthony Davis can switch off and play on Aaron Gordon, or you know what I'm saying, or he can play on Nikola Jokic while Walker Kessler kind of shades him and plays behind him and try to be that rim protector. You know what I'm saying? Because Aaron Gordon likes to be in that dunker slot. So that would be a great trade for the Los Angeles Lakers. I do think that the Jazz are going to want a lot for him, though, which is understandable because he is a young, growing center in the NBA. And when it comes to bigs in the league, guys, there's not a lot of good role-playing bigs in the NBA right now. So Walker Kessler is only going to continue to get better. He's only 23. He would be a perfect fit with the Los Angeles Lakers, and I think he is the best player that they possibly could trade for when it comes to the center market. He would be a great fit with this team. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below if I missed any realistic trade targets the Lakers should go for before the NBA trade deadline when it comes to the center position. I might make a future video on that soon. But these are the 5 or 6 players that I feel like are probably fit the best right now. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if y'all new. Catch you guys in the next one.